Well, we're back. That price action overnight, huh? Relentless selling. We're about 3.5 hours away from the U.S. market open, which means probably more relentless selling as Americans wake up and smash sell button again, particularly ETFs. We got a lot to talk about. We got memes, okay? Like real memes, funny memes, things to laugh at, okay? Because we need a bit of levity on a day like today. We got charts trying to look and say, okay, it is a very bearish week. Is there any hope left? What do we need to watch out for right now? We got a lot to get into. So let's do it. Guys, answer your questions second half of the stream. So make sure you stick around for those good times. Let's go. So, bounce or I chop it off. We're there, guys. We're there. Or if you prefer it in a more classical version, you're going to need it later, guys. You're going to need it. Don't do anything crazy, okay? Government shutdown, bearish. Government shutdown ends, believe it or not, also bearish. Oh, you got me, market. That's hilarious. Sellers are losing. The sellers. These guys. It was serious. Those dudes are buff as hell. Like, that's like, I will never look like that. Those guys are hardcore. Oh, boy. Serious stuff. Art Lane, what is up? Nice to see you, man. Remember your comments from back in the day. Chris Berniski, bull market stop and good news no longer causes the rouse. We had a lot of good news. All it's causing is dumping. Just the bear market's bottom and bad news no longer causes drops. It says no view on Robinhood, just an overall market sentiment. Robinhood down 20% in 4 days on good numbers. We've had great earnings for a lot of big companies like Robinhood, and they just dump anyway. It's the season we're in right now. Raoul Powell. So now the U.S. government has reopened. What's next? Expect a few days for TGA spending to begin to significantly add liquidity and should persist for several months. This is the thing. Government reopened yesterday. It's going to take a few days to a few weeks for all that liquidity. It's not like they just go, okay, here's $500 billion in liquidity. Just go crazy, everybody. The bank's got to ask for it. They've got to then filter it through their systems. I think this is one of the biggest bits of hopium that we have in the markets right now is now that the government shutdown has ended, which basically look at the last 6 weeks as being a time of basically no liquidity in the market. Liquidity dried right up, markets dried up with it. Okay. When liquidity starts flowing again, let the spice flow. When it starts moving, that's more likely to see prices start to react to that, okay? Lark, man, all your videos claim the bull run isn't over, building hopium, yet we keep dumping. Hey, it's like I've said before, you know, we have clear and validation points. I'm going to talk about some of those in this video, and there's the macro continues to look good. We are still in this like Goldilocks financial zone, but there's some problems, right? There's the labor market weakening, fears of inflation coming back, and all that kind of stuff. And we have some charts that could invalidate at least, you know, short term, what's going to happen in the markets in terms of bullish momentum, right? Very clear downtrends, been very clear downtrends for a while. So, you know, don't try to put too much emphasis on video titles or thumbnails. I've got to come up with something every day, man. We got a lot of videos coming out every week. We got to come up with a lot of thumbnail and title ideas. But as I've been saying, we've been in a downtrend. We've been in a downtrend for a while. I've been, you know, following that process with you guys from the early rejections, the kisses of death on the EMAs, right down. We're in a downtrend. Been a downtrend for a while. Okay. I think there's still enough on the macro side to give a bullish case for the market. Okay, because the macro regime is changing towards loosening financial conditions, not tightening financial conditions, something that usually sparks markets up. Things can always be different. Anyway, narratives don't matter, only price matters. Influencers always find narrative. Yeah, you know, price does matter. That's why we talk about charts a lot, right? We also talk about narratives because narratives are also important. Narratives are probably what helps looking around the corner a little bit, in my mind. Maybe you find zero use in narratives, and that's fine, but I like talking about narratives, and I like talking about the macro scene, what's going on. But yes, charts are king, okay? Price action is king. That's why I always make the joke that the best technology crypto has is when the number goes up. Suddenly, the tech looks a whole hell of a lot better. Continuing. Raul says, obviously QT ends in December and balance sheet will crawl higher. We should see the dollar begin to weaken. The next step is to avoid year-end funding squeeze. Expect several temporary measures to add liquidity. Term funding and SRF operations are most likely. That will eventually morph into the desperately needed changes to the SLR to allow banks to absorb more issuance and relever the balance sheets. This is a big liquidity bazooka expected in Q1. SLR should lower rates as banks buy more bonds. Also expect the Clarity Act for crypto to begin to get finalized. There will also be stimulus payments in the big, beautiful bill going through, okay? China will continue balance sheet expansion. Europe will add fiscal stimulus and extra spending. The debts must be rolled, and the government wants to superheat the economy into the midterms. This is the liquidity flood. The spice must flow. Yes. Yes, Raul. Yes. House of Trades. Woo! Actually, man, I got to give it to, was it Austin Butler? He played a great villain in the second part of the Dune movie. Great, man. Really embodied fight route. Anyway, that's a different story. Get my nerd glasses off here. Okay, continuing. Easy Eats Bodega. Fed decision in December. If you're wondering what's driving the sell-off for many risk assets, the market was pricing a December rate cut 80% plus odds just a few days ago. Now that October job data and another relevant financial data is likely never being released, there is limited information for Powell to go off for December. Powell's got to cut, man. How can Powell not cut? It'd be crazy. U.S. futures down, S&P 500 down 0.3% in futures. NASDAQ, usually, of course, 2 to 1, down 0.6%. Tom Lee is undefeated. Tom Lee says expect the S&P will rebound and close November above 7,000 by the effing dip. We're currently not very far away. Now, futures, where are we at here? Futures are putting us at 67.36 here. So nothing really crazy going on. The futures are down from where they opened up, but they're essentially opening flat to yesterday's prices. So a move up to 7,000 from here. It's only a 4% move up, but that's a pretty big move for the indexes, okay? Just FYI. But here's the thing. This is the weekly chart here for the indexes. What do we have going on here? We have and this really started, okay? Momentum right back here. End of September, early October. That's when the government shutdown started. That's when momentum started waning massively in the market, okay? You can see what happened back here, okay? We started moving sideways in the MACD. We're now coming up to, have not confirmed, but coming up to a potential bearish weekly crossover after a major run up. Now, last time we were in a similar situation. You can see it was back here on the 8th of April. Okay, it's actually crazy how much drama there was around what happened in April and really how little the index moved overall. But anyway, went down from the local top, only down 6.2%. Here in 2024, sorry. And 2024, you can see a very similar situation played out here for the MACD, right? We had big run up for a big cross down, okay? Next one back here, you can see we actually then after a brief bounce, came quite a bit back down in the markets, down about 6.5%. So these are not massive moves necessarily. Now, everyone, of course, is afraid that this is going to happen. We're going to have some giant meltdown like this happening here, where the index dropped 20%. Who knows? But if the index was to correct 6, 7, 8%, it will be fine for the stock market. It would probably be catastrophic for crypto because we've been only correlating to the downside, it seems. The VIX is pumping a little bit today. This is volatility index. Okay, so expect the potential for more drama on U.S. market open today. Dollar is been showing weakness. We did get rejected here at the 50-day EMA on the 50-week EMA on the dollar. So let's see if we can continue seeing some more weakness come in here over the next few days. The TGA starts getting drained from today and into next week. Okay. Stopped out on all my trades. Good times. Should have moved up. Should have moved my stop loss up to break even yesterday when we were having our stream, but I did not do that. Took some licks. It's fine. I think I'm gonna sit out trading for the next few days. There's weekends coming up anyway. Other things to do and think about fucking trades. But I think we'll largely be sitting out trading until we either say, okay, there's some very interesting potential bounce back momentum here, or we get back with the 20-day EMAs and start reclaiming the uptrend. Otherwise, it's a shorter's market right now. We're going to talk about that in a second. By the way, if you want to join me trading over on BitUnix, we got 2 days left for this current insane deal, guys. Okay? Check out these crazy deposit bonuses. Of course, you can short. There's a reminder, okay? People get really bear-holed into what's going on in the markets. And yeah, my altcoin bags are down, but I don't really care. It's fine. don't get too bear hold, okay? Because when you do, you stop seeing the opportunities in front of you. Look at perp dexes as an example. Everybody stop farming that shit largely. Go farm that shit. Do it when no one else wants to pay attention, when everyone else is afraid, okay? Or shorting the market, shorting new launches, shorting 20-day EME retests. There's always ways to make money in the market. Waiting for breakouts, okay? The more retests we get on the 20-day EMA, the more likely it is that a reversal comes soon, okay? And the downtrend ends soon, okay? Anyway, that being said, if you want to long the rip, short the dips, bit Unix, that's where I'm doing a lot of my trading. You guys know that we're showing the trades here all the time. Here's the deal. Deposit $1,000, get 200 back, 2,000, get 400, 5,000, get 700 bucks back. And they have insane whale bonuses. Like you put in 50K, get $5,000, $5,000 back. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy money. Okay. 100,000 bucks, get 10 grand back, 10 freaking grand. Link down below, available to anyone, anywhere. Go check it out. Okay. So what's interesting is to see the relative weakness today and crypto particularly. I mean, obviously some of the more popular tech stocks have, you know, absolutely cratered, right? We've seen all kinds of big moves down in some of the big hot tech stocks of recent times here. Let me bring up a good example here. This is Qualcomm. Qualcomm pre-market's only down like $1, so that's not an example. Iron's a good example, right? You can see here down pretty heavily from the recent highs here. Potential double top even. And if that is a double top, shit, we're going a lot lower on that. That's about $25 range. That shit might even come back down to retest the 200-day moving average. Currently down 37%. Okay. What about stuff like Rigetti? Quantum stocks, man. Made some money, good, nice money quickly flipping quantum stocks, but good God, these things have been slaughtered. I mean, these look like altcoin charts. Pre-markets has it down 58% from the top of just a month ago. Okay. So it's not just your crypto bags, okay? It's also your stock bags. Everything's fucked, okay? Don't just blame crypto. It's not just crypto's fault. Your stocks are also screwed. Anyway, you can see the risk coming off in the market here, but that's a correction from excess, perhaps. Everything ran up too hard, too fast. Now we're back to letting nature here a little bit, finding some natural values. There's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up over the next few days. Anyway, check this out. While that's happening, the appetite for AI stuff remains wildly high, okay? Look at this. The AI coding startup favored by tech CEOs now worth $29 billion. That's Cursor. That's crazy, man. What am I doing? I got to go build some apps, man. That's what I got to do. You know what? Got this whole list of like business ideas. I got to go start building some apps, man. What is this? Anyway, XAI raising $15 billion. Mirati's thinking machine and funding talks at a $50 billion valuation, man. That's crazy shit. Yo. Plenty of money out there, still chasing. These are all deals that have been signed in just the last couple of days, okay? Just FYI. Byzantine General, these last couple of UF sessions have been hilarious. They true. Every New York Open the last week has just been a slaughter fest for crypto. And here's part of the reason why. Look, yesterday we had $866 million in outflows, okay, for the Bitcoin ETFs. That's huge. Good thing about memes, I'm used to being down 90%. Jay Steve, you know the pain, man. We just laugh it off. Anyway, that is the second biggest day of outflows in Bitcoin ETF history. Almost $1 billion of Bitcoin was dumped by Wall Street yesterday. And markets are very thin right now. Everybody's panicky. Not a lot of buyers on the other side. So when they dump $1 billion, price drops 4 or 5% like it did yesterday. Okay, let's hope they don't dump another $1 billion today. Otherwise, we're going to 94K. Okay. It's brutal. You can see here, see Ethereum ETF flows for yesterday as well. $259 million, which if you adjust for market cap is more like if you had outflows yesterday of like, let's say $1.25 billion for Bitcoin. So as a percentage of market cap, ETH saw stronger outflows, okay? Interestingly, only $1.5 million, but interestingly, still positive inflows on Solana ETFs. Solana to the moon. It's not today. Solana charts are whacked. We'll get in a minute. Bitcoin Vector, we're in the final steps of a bottoming process, one that still needs more time. The risk-off signal stays in low risk, telling us that pressure is heavy but not destabilizing. This mirrors late August, early September. Stress rises, yet no structural break. Spot demand remains strong as it has since mid-October. Volatility is high, but the trend is intact. The faster the risk stays stable, the faster this bottom forms. For now, everything depends on one thing, a weekly close above 97, 98K structural zone. Interesting. Can't believe it's bull market over and digging an altcoin season. Solana going back to 16 bucks. I'm going to buy so much Solana if that happens. And ride my underwater bags all the way down there. Look, that's the thing. If the bull market's over, in a lot of ways, it was a very, very lame bull market. There was maybe, I don't know, a few dozen coins you could have sort of confidently longed and held on to for more than like 5 minutes that would have made money. ETH underperformed massively. Most of the OG coins underperformed massively. Many things never even got close to their previous all-time highs, which is part of it's natural. Some stuff doesn't deserve to go back to its previous all-time highs. But a lot of coins, like, why doesn't Chainlink go back to an all-time high, man? It should have. The fundamentals are there. Okay? So if the bull market is over, which I still think there's plenty of macro reasons to assume that it is not, but if it, we could, and here's the thing too, because of the institutional nature of the market right now, if we do say, okay, well, we've lost a 50-week EMA, which we have 2 days to try to reclaim, by the way, we'll talk about that in a second. If we lose that, then yeah, by all intents and purposes, we are entering into a bull market, bear market territory, right? How long that lasts, though, is anybody's guess. This could just be a bear trap, right? Temporary dip under, back above in a few days' time as the money starts flowing in from the TGA, bringing liquidity back into the markets. Would not surprise me, okay? But if we start putting those consistently, those candle closes under the 50-week EMA, it's very, very problematic, and we're entering a new bear period. Now, the question is then, how long does that bear period last? A few weeks, a few months, a year of straight down price action like we've had in previous cycles? It's certainly possible. And if so, man, the 4-year cycle really remains undefeated, and it doesn't even make any sense. Part of the selling, too, is people thinking the 4-year cycle's over, and so they're getting the hell out of the market because they think the bear market's going to come. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point. Thankfully, we don't have that kind of superstition in the stock market. Anyway, with the institutional moves in the market right now, I'd not be surprised to see whatever bear market comes, whether it's happening now or happens soon, to be much different than previous ones, much more short-lived, much more shallow, for example. Buy the dip again. With what money, sir? With what money? I actually bought a little bit of Solana today, but just a little bit. And just kind of the regular stacking of that. Anyway, continuing. Guys, here's a bit of hopium for you. Straight in the veins, 90-day gold lag, okay? Remember we were talking about gold puts in a big move about 90 days later on average. Bitcoin picks up the liquidity and has moved too. Now, that would say that Bitcoin's going to move here in the not so distant future. Let's see what happens. Connor put this one up, shorts piling in. That's right. Everybody's starting to short now that we're getting closer to now prices are low, everybody wants to short. Okay. When prices are high, everybody wants to long. When prices are low, everybody wants to short. It's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Okay. At least wait for a good short setup. Anyway, Psychedelic posts this. This is what most people cannot do. Be objective during times of high emotion. You can see the uptrend here. You can see where fear and greed was at the retest of this uptrend line. You can throw the 50-week EMA on there. Basically line with that as well. MACD on the weekly has already been trending down for a while. That's the interesting thing. Now, if you'd simply sold on the MACD weekly bear cross, you would have sold right here around about $110,000, something like that, because it crossed over right in this area here. And yeah, you would have now I'd be like, well, I got out for $10,000, $13,000 profit per Bitcoin or whatever, right? But you probably would have FOMO'd back in when we went up to 126, realistically. You can't just base your decisions in life off of the 1 week MACD. Would you consider the cycle is broken? This cycle's been broken since early 2024, in my opinion. And everything that's been happening so far has been defying expectations, which is a fascinating reality. right? Because we had the new all-time high before the Bitcoin halving. And then we've had these little moments of outperformance, and we've had these slow grinding moves up for Bitcoin, no real parabolic moves. It's been a very interesting cycle overall. Anyway, continuing. Bitcoin weekly RSI is at its most oversold level since the April bottom. Think about that. Current sentiment in terms of momentum and RSI is at the same level it was at the absolute peak bottom back in April. Now, it does not mean we have to bounce from here. We can just go from here to being disgustingly oversold. You know, the weekly MACD can get down to 5 or something, which would be freaking bonkers, crazy zone stuff, by the way. Bad news bears. But we've literally bounced from this level multiple times. You can see right here, okay? This is where the MACD is, or the RSI is right now. April, okay? Japanese yen crisis. 2023, it wasn't even going. Everybody just giving up on crypto crisis. Late 2022, this is Luna, Celsius collapse, all kind of stuff. This is the FTX collapse right here. Gives you an idea of where we are, okay? The rational root. Profit levels are near the lows of previous corrections. If this cycle continues, this might be the bottom. Okay. Ki Young Ju from Crypto Quant. Those who entered Bitcoin 6 to 12 months ago have a cost basis near $94,000. Personally, I do not think the bear cycle is confirmed unless we lose that level. I'd rather wait than jump to conclusions. JP Morgan. Support is $94,000, said JP Morgan. They keep their $170,000 upside price target intact. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I see you, JP Morgan. What's up? So, oh boy. He says, I don't sell when prices are up. I wait too long to sell when it's going back down. Wait too long to buy when it's going back up. I need to ignore the markets. Part of it is just ignoring the markets. Really is. Think too much on a daily basis and you just end up getting screwed up. Where are we at right now? $96,350 Bitcoin. We are $500 away from making a new low for the day. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Now, so far, this falling wedge pattern is approximately intact, but here's the problem for you. So this has got about a $20,000 indication for the price here, the target breakdown. So these things, descending wedges, they favor an upside breakout. About 67, 68% of the time, something like that, these kind of patterns break to the upside. We're currently at the baseline here of support on the downtrend side, right? Here's the thing. You lose this level, well, we're going back to the indication from this will be we're going down to like the low 80s, upper 70s, something like that. Flip side, break out to the upside. You probably come back here to retest this line around like 127, 128, just another minorly higher all-time high. Anyway, that's what watching the chart right now. You can see very, very deeply ground down MACD here, very much in the oversold levels. RSI not oversold yet, but damn, it's getting close on the daily. We actually haven't had an oversold daily since back here in February. Pretty interesting. I don't want to believe it's a bear market, but that chart's ugly. Oh yeah, that's a super ugly chart. This is the thing. The charts are ugly right now. We are in downtrends. All major EMAs have been lost. All major supports are being broken. Okay, that's not bullish. That's bearish. Could we have a bottom being close to being in? Sure, we could. Can prices go lower? Well, yeah, of course they can. Okay, a lot of panic in the markets right now. From OGs selling to everybody simply believing 4-year cycle simply has to play out. So everybody's rushing for the exits. Bitcoin ETFs are selling. People are afraid what's going on in the stock market. Oh, what's the Fed going to do? Oh, what are the job numbers going to be? Oh, is OpenAI going to be able to make it? What happens if they don't? Oh my goodness, all this kind of stuff. Bitcoin dominance, currently right here is weekly chart, by the way. Bitcoin dominance, very, very interesting right now. Okay, what are we seeing in the Bitcoin dominance chart? Big fat bear flag. Getting rejected currently at the 50 and 20 week. If it gets rejected here, okay, that's a big move down. That's about, say, a 10% move down in dominance. So go from 50 down to 60 down to about 50. which is right down here. And that is solid altcoin crazy season. Now, this can also happen and everything just dies too. There's also that. It does happen. But maybe we can hope for a better scenario there. This is the weekly for Bitcoin. Now, very, very important line in the sand right here. Look at this. This blue line, okay? Bulls have 3 days to get their shit together. Because this blue line right here is the bull bear line. All right? Let's go back and have a look. You can see, ever since the lows of 2022, what has happened? It has maintained, okay, from the time that it got back above, it has maintained above this line. It did it in June 23. It did it, well, you know, it did. Here's a funny little thing for you. It didn't actually perfectly do it back here. This is pretty early in the cycle, so that kind of move is expected. But in September 23, it did peak back down below it. But okay, from the move when things started really getting heated up in the markets here, okay, we had one test here, one test here. Each of these tests had 2 separate moves down to test the 50-week EMA. We wicked under 1, 2, 3 times, then closed the weekly back above it. Okay, so if we fail to close the weekly above the 50-week EMA here, okay, that would largely say that, yes, a bearish trend has been confirmed and shit's probably going to get worse before it gets better, okay? Are the bears jumping out of the windows? Bears aren't jumping out of the window, man. Bears are jumping up and down, having a party, pumping champagne. Filthy beasts. Did you guys see Michael Burry shut down his hedge fund? He's still short of the market. I think he's just taking his money private and doesn't have to worry about reporting and dealing with antsy investors and shit like that. But it's end of an era there for sure. Anyway, for the bullish case to remain quite optimistic, here's what you want to see. By Sunday night, you want to see the price be back over $101,000. Okay? That would be a defense of the 50-week EMA. If we close the week down here at, like, I don't know, $90,000 or some BS like that, that is fucking bearish, and we're probably going to be dealing with some pain for a while. The only sort of things that might bounce us back quickly again would be the hundreds of billions of liquidity that are going to enter the market next week from the TGA account. So it could end up being the most epic bear trap possible. Man, it's going to be nasty. And by all confirmations, every support's been lost. Every EMA has been lost. And now we have the 50-week EMA flirting with danger right now. Okay. And that's just the charts, man. That's just the charts. You guys know I keep looking at the macro and saying the macro, look what's going on in the macro. So many good things happening in the macro right now. Why is particularly crypto acting like this? We just have too many damn sellers right now and not enough buyers coming in. Because at some point, about 3 or 4 months ago, stocks started being the better place to put your money. So people started moving their money over there. They bought less crypto. Michael Saylor ran out of money. Okay, Bitcoin ETFs, they kept buying, but over the last few weeks, they've been net sellers. Apparently, though, Tom Lee, he's still buying, man. Bought some more ETH today. Tom Lee, my man. My man. Lark, would you support a new Wall Street investment vehicle allowing EBT recipients to buy crypto known as EBTFs? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Anyway, an EBT. Don't know. Anyway, term I'm not familiar with. Continuing. ETH here, looking nasty like everything else. Got rejected here at the 200-day and 20-day EMA at the same time. It's a 2-for-1 deal, guys. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Ay. ETH bulls want to see if we get a pullback. Want to see about 2,800 hold here. That's going to be a brutal sell-off if we get there, though. Solana in a very, very clear, very clean downtrending channel right now. Now, obviously, the fate of the majors, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, they rise and fall together. So if one gets slaughtered, the other's going to get slaughtered too. If one breaks out, there's a breakout too. And this is a very clean chart right now, okay? And we are now on the 4th touch line of this downtrend here in the channel, okay? We have 3 touches on the upside. So 20-day EMAs here at $165, 200-day EMA at $185. So for the bull case to play out, you really want to see us back above this orange line right here, okay? MACD getting very oversold, RSI into oversold territories here as well. You might by the way. Hey, look at this. I'm just going to put this extra line here because you might be seeing forming up right now, as long as the price doesn't nuke dramatically more, you might be seeing forming up a bullish RSI divergence here. Okay. We can go to zero. That predicted we go up. It's a good call, man. Zero, then moon. Zero, then moon. Pump fun. Still amazingly within this triangle. The technical downside target of this triangle is basically zero. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Man, that is getting tight, though. It's going to break out soon. Connor here pointing out Canary Capital clients purchased $250 million of XRP through the newly launched ETF products. Chart doesn't give us shit. Wrong day to launch ETF products, XRP. Anyway, there you go. Guys, we're not time to news there yet. It's free. It's awesome. There's a link down below. So let's get our red light hats on. Hydrate a little bit. All this talking is thirsty work, guys. It's thirsty work. Yeah, that's right. Even the dead cats don't bounce anymore, man. Trump is buying the dip. I would not be surprised, to be honest, at this point. So much crime going on. So much crime. No Aquapana today. No, we got the Aquapana here, but I just thought I'd crack open a nice bottle of sparkling water here. This is an exhausting cycle. We're saying it's been a super exhausting cycle because this is the thing. If you held anything, you got punished. I was thinking about this today. It's been such a general losing trade holding most altcoins. Basically, hold your Bitcoin, maybe your Solana. That's probably about it. The rest of the stuff, stay in cash most of the time. Whenever you see a runner, okay, Zcash running great, throw some money into it, run it up, cash out at a 5x, whatever. Take your money, go back in the cash, wait for the next opportunity to show up. Honestly, it's probably been a better way to play a cycle. Not how I played the cycle. Nope. If the cycle ends here, I have not done super well. Okay? It is what it is. I've done okay. Don't get me wrong. Could have done a hell of a lot better, though. Largely just by holding on to shit. You know, all my venture investments got slaughtered. Lost a lot of money in there. So my best investments have been the stocks and shit that I bought back in 2022. Dividend stocks paying 5-6% a year. They're up 100-200% on average. Like, yeah, I rock and roll, man. Should have sold my Avalanche, bought more of that shit. Anyway, do you hold any? I do hold some Master. I think at some point that thing's gonna absolutely rip. Can Solana still go to $1,000? That seems hopeless. Yes, but here's the question. It's not going to go to $1,000 in 6 weeks, is it? Okay. We significantly had a divergence. The U.S. government shutdown really screwed markets up. Okay. It sucked liquidity out of the system, and now we're seeing the effects of that, which might take a few weeks to get over. At which point you probably get a horrific bear trap, and everybody sells out just before the BlackRock and Trump team send it back up again. That'd be the best case scenario, of course. Can Solana still go to $1,000? Yes. It really, think about this. Solana at $1,000 is basically the current market cap of Ethereum. It's not even crazy. I don't understand why Solana and ETH aren't more equally priced, especially considering Solana does more than ETH does. I know. ETH's, the magical child, and it's been here for a longer time, all that kind of stuff. Lark, minoxidil and derma rollers were great for hair loss and done wonders. I bought a derma roller, actually. I love my red light hat, don't get me wrong. But I bought a derma roller. I haven't actually got around to using it yet. I need to. No. If Jerome Powell raises interest rates, man, it's just going to go. It's going to be Armageddon, man. Really is. Just a nuclear bomb goes off in the markets. Hydrate some of that naive water. Ah, yes, the good old Avion. I don't have any Avion in here right now. I do enjoy good Avion, though. It is so crisp. Literally round trip my ETH long from April, only took a little profit. Looks like I'm about to do the same. Unfortunately, I got my stop loss set and profit on it, but I will have round tripped a lot of the profit on. So I'm still gonna make money. Could have been a lot better though. Remember when you were saying it's normally sell in May and go away, and here we are in November still holding, waiting for a holiday. Oh yeah, this cycle's been full of all kinds of fun surprises. Dune 2 was unwatchable. I couldn't even finish it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. You know, I mean, obviously I have to change some stuff, but I generally thought it was a pretty good retelling of the story. You know, as a fan of the Dune series, read all the books, man. All the books. That's what we're talking about because markets suck, okay? I've read all the books. There was a 6 that Frank Herbert wrote, and then the 3 that the Sun wrote to finish it up, which I quite enjoyed as well. You know, you can tell it's not quite Frank, right? But they finished the story. It's an end to the story. Let's put it that way. Is it how I expected? Is it how Frank would have necessarily put his magic into it? Not necessarily, but it was still good. It was entertaining. But man, it's a big book series, man. Those are hefty books. Bitcoin dumping currently. What are we doing here? 96,000. Yeah, we are done. Let's watch the dump on screen. There it goes, guys. $96,000. We gonna gap down to $94,000 today. Burger's gonna wake up. America's gonna wake up. Get another $1 billion in Bitcoin ETFs to dump today. Is that what's gonna happen here? 3 hours till U.S. market open. Market is jittery. Okay. Nobody believes in good things anymore. All they believe in is pain. Just pain. Be very interesting to see how this plays out. So this wedge in the process of getting invalidated. Classic. You really want to see that get a decent bounce in there soon. Losing this wedge again, the downside target is quite a ways down there. Relentless selling, relentless panic in the markets right now. Not much else to be said for it. It's an irrational move, I think, to some extent, but we should have gone higher too. We didn't. We stopped following stocks up about 3 months ago. Everybody stopped buying crypto and kept buying stocks. And so we decorrelated significantly from the money flows from the stock market when they were going up. But the first sign of any sort of trouble in the stock market, and crypto dumps like crazy, man. When my wife took my wallet and spent all my money, we had nothing to eat. It was still more profit than I made with my altcoins. At least your wife was fed. Oh boy. Lark, did we lose the 45 weekly RSI support? Hold on a second. I think it's the weekly chart here. RSI is at 41 right now. So you can see back here. Yeah, it looks like we are currently in the process of losing the RSI that's kind of held as support back here in these 4 different times. Okay, now, if it bounces soon, which it doesn't look like it's doing currently, if it were to bounce soon, then yeah, we can say that's generally holding up as the area of support, right? But can always just speed run it down to oversold. Why not? If half this shit happened 4 years ago, Bitcoin would be down 80%. Last shake, just one more shakeout, guys. Just one more shakeout. What are your hopes for cycle highs for Pump and Pengu? Jordan, I have no idea. Wrong day to ask that question, man. Look, in a perfect risk-on scenario, say 10 cents for both of them, maybe even higher for Pengu. But we don't have that risk attitude. We've had basically risk off for altcoins for a while now. People are very hesitant to buy altcoins for good reason, because so many people have been fucking scammed so many fucking times by fucking grifter founders and all the rest of the bullshit. I get it, man. But Pump at least has that crazy buyback mechanism, which, yeah, currently we're seeing a lot of sell-off on the price because everything's selling off. But when that cools down, and it will, sellers run out of ammunition at some point. All the people who want to panic are going to panic over the next couple days, let's say, dump their bags. Bitcoin ETFs can't sell the weekend, at least. Monday is a different story, but hey, When all the panic sellers are done, what are you left with? A bunch of crazy people who are going to keep holding their bags or capitulate super late. Next stop is 93 or 80. 94 is a pretty key level, man. So you want to watch out for that. I can't believe he makes videos every day. I listen to him every day. I don't get out of this addiction. One of us. One of us. Oh, boy. XBAT says that buy orders at 92, 90, 88, and 86. My man. It's the right attitude. Buy the dip if you have cash left. You also don't have to buy. This is the thing, too. Sometimes, like, I've got more than enough money in the crypto markets, put it that way. So I buy... when I buy stuff these days, I buy very, very little. Okay. Most of the money that I make in crypto from one way or another goes out to buy stocks or to, just put in cash, just have cash sitting there. As cash feels good to have sitting in your bank account. What do you think about Beyond Meat stock? Oh my God. I'm thinking of rotating my crypto into it. You got to be joking. Look, I think Beyond Meat's gone straight back to $1, hasn't it? Yeah, let's have a look here. BYND. Man, that was a crazy pump and dump. Look at that shit. Oh my God. Went from $1 to $7.75 back to $1 within 2 weeks. Brutal. Brutal. Ay. The selling can be endless. It feels endless. Look at the New York Open yesterday. It was literally just non-stop red candles for a few hours. Zero buying during that time. People are very shaken and pessimistic in the markets right now for good reason. For good reason. Look at what's going on. It's pretty hard to be optimistic on that kind of price action. Catch up in the chat here. Were you really going to buy something besides more crypto? Yeah, stocks. More stocks. At least you own something real when you own stocks. Most of these altcoins. Oh, look, we're about to lose $96,000. New lows. Yay. There we go. We lost $96,000. Woo. Cheers. Oh, boy. Relentless selling, guys. Look at that. ETH down to 3,100. Solana at 140. Bitcoin getting sold, man. People running for the exits. Maybe Solana isn't a $1,000 coin because fake it until you make it doesn't always work. Set up my buy orders at 0. Let's go. Smoking chicken fish is smoked, man. It's over. It's over. Time for tap water. Go down drinking, man. Gonna go out drinking. Dude, we're going to $79,000. I would not be surprised to see a much deeper sell-off down to that kind of area. Would it surprise me? Not in the least, but especially charts looking like this. Like I said, for the technical breakdown of the descending wedge pattern you see on the screen here, okay? The technical breakdown target of that's sort of basically lower 80s. So I would not be shocked to see these things happen. We bounce off the death cross. We usually do. Usually have death cross, a few days of lane price action, pump higher. Again, this is either the start of the bear market, and that doesn't have to be the bear market. A bear market, so everything goes down. I mean, everything's already down disgustingly. Let's keep it real. But it doesn't have to be the end of all times, right? It doesn't have to be a 1-year bear market. We could have a 3 or 4 month bear market like we did at the start of the year, and then things pick back up. So we'll see what happens. But the bulls need to get the price back over $101,000, man, to finish up the week. Where's that at? Let's bring this up here. From current prices, Bitcoin needs to go up 7%. That's starting to get to be a heavy lift at this point. Unless something changes fast, the only thing that seems to be changing is the price going down more. Aster holding well. Some altcoins are actually holding up relatively well during this sell-off. A lot of money is coming out of Bitcoin, Ethereum in particular, Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin ETFs, you have these Wall Street sellers who are literally like smashing the sell button on $1 billion. It's the bear market. We're cooked. Tau holding well. Trump $2,000 checks in April. That's going to set moonshots. Plus, then you start to see the market front run the new Fed chair in May. Okay, all this kind of stuff. So, could we go through a multi-month correction and still come out much higher by the end of 27? Of course. Look, maybe the 4-year guys are right and it's all over. Or we get a decent correction followed by a move higher. Either way, I'm not selling. The only loser money wants to sell. We'll be back up again one day, whether it's next month or next year. So he's having a heart attack. Most coins, man, everything's just come right back down. It's been crazy. What happened to Moonvember? Went from wrecked Timber to crash Vember. And then I guess we're going to go into even wrecked-er Sember. Anyway, guys, we got to finish up there for today. I will see you back on Monday for the next live stream. It's going to be a crazy weekend. Hold on to your butts. Watch out for the 50-week EMA close, okay? We really want to see the price get back above $101,000. Failure to do so makes things much more problematic. If we do go down, gosh darn, you want to see a bounce off 94K. That's sort of the biggest zone right now, as we mentioned, right? That's where a lot of the ETF buyers have about their average price at. So there you go. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. I'll see you back on Monday. Of course, great weekend videos coming up too, so make sure to check those out. See you next time. Bye.